guys, okay, so today I finished Matched. I was just reading the last 100 pages and it just finished. Okay, so I've made a list of pros and cons because I feel like there's a lot about the book that I thought was bad and a lot that I thought was brilliant and was done really well. First off, this video will contain spoilers, as is the nature of any review, because I feel like I've got to articulate my ideas through the story and through the book. My first gut, should you read it, yes, no, would be, it's one of those books, if you're a fan of dystopian teen novels, read it because you won't be disappointed. The rest of the video, though, is for those of you who have read it in its entirety. Firstly, I'd like to say that the book is very, very, very basic in the way it deals with dystopian novels. It's very cliched, very formatted in exactly the way you'd think a dystopian book would be formatted. It doesn't really add anything, and it certainly doesn't challenge the idea that this is the way we're headed, this is the way we're going. They all seem to present this idea that it's like a, this is the way we will, and there's no kind of like variation outside of that. So yeah, it's very cliche. I can think of several other stories, but none off the top of my head. You know exactly where it's going to go. It's extremely predictable all the way through. I don't think I'm aware of one single plot twist that was actually really hooking and intriguing. There are several little bits of information that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. But you get to the end of the book and it's just getting good. And you have to put it down and pick up the next one. What I do like, though, is the fact that instead of tossing the character she's matched with, Sander, aside, there is some thought about him in her mind still, which I think is important because it's someone she's known for a very, very long time, and why would you just forget that person? It's got a very uninspired opening. I found the opening really quite dull and obvious. It's basically prom, which I know she was inspired to write about, but it's so very, very evident in the whole procedure of there's nothing like this ever, ever, ever in your life. Yeah, it just gets interesting as you put the book down. I hate books that do that. It's got a really, really slow burning kind of feel to it. Like the whole way through I was not hooked at all until the last like 100 pages. And then I was like,
this is gonna get really good, and then they're gonna stop.
How these things always end is that their love is doomed. They can never actually be together. I love the imagery of Cassia in green. It's one of the most powerful things. The only thing I can really liken it to is Taylor Swift and the word red. It seems to carry on through the book, and they introduce flowers and trees and botanical stuff, as well as they introduce poetry as something is really interesting, and I feel like it explores it in a way that we wouldn't be able to explore it, because actually we have all these poems at our disposal. These guys only have like 100 poems that they can talk about, that they can read. I love the way they communicate through like napkins and drawings, and that Kai can still write, and that's just lost. And I feel like that is quite a powerful image. A break archetype, sort of, in that Xander is not a total prick. He, without fail, helps Cassia out through everything and helps them realise their love, even though actually I would be pretty ticked off. She has a very conflicted, open-minded view of society. She's not completely boxed into I must rebel, I must get out. She also feels I don't want to let everybody else down, I don't want to be that person that people call the aberration, that people send me out of society. Ultimately it happens anyway because she manages to break every single one of society's rules, and I'm like,
Good on you, why wouldn't you break all the silly, stupid rules?
the characters work well. I find at the end of the book they are all pretty much completely believable. I think they work really well, and it's really hard not to get swept along in that romance. So in short, I really love the book. However, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. I don't know, I thought it would be a little bit more meaty at first, but it gives me a lot of hope for the series, and it makes me really want to read the other two, just because if this is getting good now, I'm hoping that, you know, through the second and third book, the mundaneness of this one will just kind of disappear. I don't know, it feels like another book to me. I like it, I read it, I'm glad I read it, but I want to know what you guys think, because I'm kind of on the fence. I'm giving it like a 3 out of 5 at the moment. What do you guys like? What do you guys think? What do you guys love? What don't you love? If you're still watching, even though I told you about spoilers, even though you haven't read the book, go read it. I will see you guys later. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and bye-bye.